We're continuing our team coverage on the developing news out of Starr County. Today, the second highest ranking lawman arrested by federal agents. We're learning more about the indictment of Commander Joe Padilla tonight. Action Force Nadia Galindo was in the federal courtroom today as he went to face a judge. She brings us the latest tonight. Nadia.
The federal indictment was unsealed today. Commander Joe Padilla was listed alongside 12 other people, including alleged drug traffickers. Today, he stood before a judge and acknowledged the charges. Hidalgo County Commander Joe Padilla was once Sheriff Lupe Trevino's second in command, but today he fell from grace. Padilla was arrested Tuesday morning and stood before a federal judge to hear charges brought against him. Federal agents watched as Padilla was told he is charged with money laundering and taking part in a drug conspiracy.
It's a sad day for the Sheriff's Office in Hidalgo County. Certainly another blemish to the badge in South Texas.
Padilla's name was mentioned during the trial of Hidalgo County Deputy George Garza, who is one of 9 lawmen convicted in the Panama Unit scandal. He, alongside the sheriff's son, Jonathan Trevino, and the Hidalgo police chief's son, Alexis Espinosa, are convicted of stealing drug loads from cartels and selling them to other drug traffickers. Padilla was called to the stand but pled the fifth and suffered no repercussions. In that same trial, a county prosecutor, Charlie Vela, was called to the stand and also pled the fifth. He was then fired by District Attorney Rene Guerra.
I have expectations of my employees to answer to the courts. That's what the oath they took, was to support the Constitution and laws of the United States.
On count 7 of the indictment unsealed today, Padilla is listed alongside Tomas Gonzalez, who is also known as El Gallo. He's an alleged drug trafficker who is currently in federal custody. The news of Padilla's arrest has caused many to tout their mistrust in the county's top commander, Sheriff Trevino. But despite this, Guerra says he is convinced Trevino has no involvement in the drug conspiracy.
I haven't lost any confidence in Sheriff Trevino until I see it firsthand. I'm going to have his back.
Right now, Padilla remains in federal custody. He's set for a detention hearing this Friday at the federal courthouse in McAllen. In the Hidalgo County newsroom, Nadia Galindo, Action 4 News.
Padilla faces 10 years to life in prison for the drug charge and up to 30 years in prison for money laundering charge. Now, the arrest of the second in command in the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Department comes after a judge postponed the sentencing for several members of the Panama unit. 8 of those men include an officer from the Mission Police Department and Hidalgo County deputies, all whom pled guilty to drug conspiracy charges. Now, the 9th man, Jorge Garza, fought the charges but was ultimately found guilty. As word spread throughout the county, residents speaking out on the arrest of Padilla. Also speaking out tonight, the Hidalgo County Sheriff himself. Ashley Custer joins us outside the Hidalgo County Bureau with more.
Ryan, after news broke this morning that Padilla was arrested and faces 2 federal charges, people I spoke to say what's fair is fair. Everyone, including law enforcement, needs to be held accountable if they break the law. Early Tuesday morning, Commander Padilla was arrested and placed in the custody of the U.S. Marshals. He's facing charges of money laundering and conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute marijuana. We reached out to Hidalgo County Sheriff Lupe Trevino, and while he's currently unable to comment on administrative actions, Trevino says he's disappointed to have learned of the allegations against Commander Joe Padilla. He says, quote, "I am concerned of the moral impact this might have on our organization and the possible loss of confidence by our public. We are a resilient organization and we will bounce back up like before." The sheriff is reassuring the community that these allegations will not hurt the delivery of services to the public. Action 4 News took to the streets to get reaction from people living in the community. Most, like Joe Singletary, were stunned to hear of the arrest and charges against Commander Padilla.
These are the people that we look up to or to take care of our neighborhood, and yet they're the ones that are doing all the crimes. So.
It seems like, who do you trust? They're the people that we're supposed to trust.
We broke the news to Eleanor Garza. She says she just can't wrap her mind around it.
I always think, what brings them to that point to do something, put their jobs in jeopardy and their family? And
others say while it's not exactly shocking, it is a shame.
I understand if you want to make a little money on the side. I suppose if they got to do what they got to do. I mean, it surprised me because they're always arresting people and doing charges for what they do, but it's the valley.
But at the end of the day, there is one thing people agreed upon.
I think that they should be accountable.
Yeah, he should. He really should. I mean, the law's the law. Yeah.
People I spoke to say law enforcement officials aren't above the law. In fact, they should be held to a higher standard. In Hidalgo County, I'm Ashley Custer, Action 4 News.
Right, Ashley, thank you for that. Lots of people have been sounding off on this latest scandal to rock the Sheriff's Department. We want to hear from you tonight. Send us your thoughts on the latest Panama Unit scandal. We're on Facebook right now, also on Twitter, chatting live. Use @KGBT handle to find us. As always, the latest on this developing story is online. We post more in-depth coverage at valleycentral.com.